We've got a really awesome 392 Wrangler JL up on the rack. We're doing a whole bunch of upgrades to it. Metal cloak lift, 38-inch tires, very similar to a 392 that we've done in the past. If you want to see that video, check the link in our description because it was really awesome. In this video, we're going to be strictly focusing on power steering upgrade. We've got a bunch of parts laid out on the table, all from, you got it, PSC. We're doing their full tilt kit, which includes a pump, a box, a cooler, a reservoir, the whole system. This is pretty unique because the JL has an electric assist power steering system. So it doesn't have a belt-driven power steering pump. So it's gonna be retrofitting this style system and getting rid of this system. So Eric, you've got this all laid out. How do you think you're gonna attack all this?
We're gonna tear out all the factory stuff first, trying to make it as little of a mess as possible, because I hate working in the power steering fluid. So we're loosening all the lines, the return lines, power lines, then we'll work on disconnecting it from the box and the electric pump.
And from what we can tell, this whole electric pump gets deleted?
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
So get everything out of there.
Cool.
Has its own reservoir, new pump, new bigger box, new cooler, which will mount underneath there.
It'll be kind of cool to actually see the factory box maybe laid on the table compared to this big thing, because like this comes with its own pitman arm, right?
Yeah.
Like the splines are huge.
If you can see under there, you can see that pitman arm is much bigger.
Oh yeah.
Than the factory. Once I get that out, we'll take a look at it.
We'll lay it on the table and compare it. This has a big cooler, which is what this piece is, right? So just outlining some of this stuff. This is the pump. We talked about that. The necessary mounting brackets, right?
Yep, the vent for your reservoir, your build aluminum reservoir there.
Oh, that's what this is. That's cool. I know we were digging a little bit into instructions just to see exactly how PSC wants this all done, so we're gonna probably dig into that a little bit more. They give you this little QR code.
For mounting your bolts.
For mounting the bolts.
It'll swap out the bolts for the steering box, which also go with the metal cloak track bar bracket we put in.
Oh, cool, cool. I know you've done some other power steering stuff here. Probably the last one, though, wasn't this kit, but it was the kit from Apex,
yeah,
right?
the last two were the Apex
The
ones,
last two were the steering boost from Apex.
which put in a cooler similar to that.
Yeah,
but it
right.
just modifies the electric pump.
Modifies the electric pump and has like a higher pressure relief valve, so you can build higher pressure in the system. So it'll be interesting to see the difference, your opinion on that kit versus this kit. Of course, this kit is probably like 5 times the price.
And labor.
And labor, right. But it'll be an interesting comparison between the two for steering upgrades.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're 38s, pushing 38s on this.
right.
We need the power.
You're gonna need the power, for sure. All right, well, let's see how you make out, what hiccups you run into. It should be kind of cool going together.
We're gonna miss all the trade and go. Trying to make it as little of a mess as possible, because I hate working in the power steering fluid.
Oh, you got the box out. Sweet. That's huge. Look at this, like, look at the size of the sector shaft. It's crazy big. So just doing some initial observations, this box is tapped for the hydraulic assist line, so I don't think we're adding it in this kit, but if you want to add a steering ram, that's what these lines would go to, and it would essentially replace your steering stabilizer with a hydraulic ram that would be powered off these ports with 2 hydraulic lines. So we're not going to be doing that on this install, but if he wants to do it, it wouldn't be that difficult to add in the future. So we've got PSC box, OEM box, and the electric assist pump all out on the table. I know originally there was a recall, do you remember that, John, on steering boxes? There was some JLs that came with an aluminum box, some that came with a cast iron box, and if you complained about steering handling on your Jeep, they would often replace the entire steering gearbox. They would take out the aluminum box and put in this cast steel box. Where does that cooler go?
Probably up under the radiator. We'll look around a little bit, find the best spot so it's protected for off-road.
That's kind of where Apex puts theirs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right where the old factory line used to run. It actually uses their same mounts down there.
Oh yeah, cool. All right, that'll be sweet. To avoid a bunch of check engine lights and error warnings on the dash, now that this electric power steering pump is out of the equation and these connectors are just hanging here, we have supplied a taser from Z Automotive. That taser does a lot of calibration features, so if you don't have one for your Jeep, definitely get one. But one of the things it allows you to do is to delete or disable the electric hydraulic power steering pump so the Jeep's not even looking for it. So we're not gonna have any error codes whatsoever. The system's gonna work exactly normal with no check engine lights and no error codes. Of course, before we get this all back together, we're gonna make sure that if these circuits are fused, which I'm sure they are, we're gonna make sure we pull the fuse on that circuit. We're gonna tape these up with Tessa tape so there's no water intrusion or anything like that. And then we're gonna secure them probably up here with a zip tie so they're not dangling. Of course, we've got to put the whole inner fender liner back in there.
It ain't gonna work that way. We gotta do some moving around here. Gotta bend the bracket a little bit so it clears the fan shroud. A little more. Bolt that in and then bend her back up. Steering lines, cooler's up under there. I'll move it up in a minute. Leave that loose for now so we route it all around. This is the power steering transmission. Hot. We want it cold and back in. Go down here replacing this idler pulley on this side, and then the water pump thermostat swivel head will go on the other side to clear room for the reservoir and vent on the other side. And replacing this bracket right here. they're moving everything for the reservoir over there.
To Mike's.
This is so ridiculously long.
So the frame's obviously it's slightly different in the engine placement because it's JL, not JK. But Mike's, I think I went like this, and then it loops. It's way too long.
You got the huge loop in the back and then a tight bend. Sam, you could have a 12-inch piece right there, right onto it and done. Well, this could be such a short, easy line.
Yeah, I made his like not very long.
Good morning, Pat Air. This is Pat. Can I help you?
Hi Pat, good morning. This is Mike with Mount Zion. I need a hydraulic hose made. Do you mind if I send a driver in there to do that? I have a into the service counter. Okay, I have a hose here. It's just a bit too long, so we have it marked where it needs to be shortened to. So just got off the phone with Penn Air. They're a local company that make hydraulic and air lines. We actually purchased all of our big air system lines from them that are 2-inch aluminum. Regardless, they can make these custom lines for us. What we found with this particular line, it connects the pump to the box, is that it's pretty long, almost twice as long. So what we're gonna do, we've got it marked here, is have them probably make us a whole new line that is just like this, but it ends here. Hopefully that'll make this a much tidier install in the engine bay, and we won't have a bunch of extra hose to kind of manipulate and work with in that space. So they're gonna do it while he waits. So I expect in like maybe 2 hours, we'll have this line back and we can finish the install.
He said that Penn Air probably will make an entire new line because he said they don't like using like a half a line.
Yeah.
I say that's fine.
Whatever works, just so they have it. This is all right, we got our new high pressure hose made, going from our pump to our steering gear here. This is the one that came with the kit. So he's got a whole lot of extra length. But once we got the pump installed in the Jeep here, you can tell it's real close to this gearbox. Pump's running from here over to the box. So we're gonna use a much shorter hose, clean this up, look a lot nicer. A little bit longer. We could have actually shortened it even more, but at the same time we don't have any real tight bends here. We almost could have come down and turned here, but it's real tight with the style of fitting that's on here. At the same time we got clearance of the airbox in the frame, and we're not touching on top of the gearbox here, so there'll be no rubbing contacts. Just trying to make it as little of a mess as possible. Shop towel is very absorbent. Twist, bend and snap. Putting the new thermostat housing in there. It's got a little swivel. It'll clear the reservoir bracket once we're up in here. So we're not going to tighten it all the way yet. Just get it started. And then get our reservoir set in place, and then we'll get it adjusted to where we want it. This is the hose that came with it, running from the reservoir to the pump here. But it's a little bit short for where we want it to go with it. It kind of sits right against the fan on the front of the engine there. So we got some extra hose here, cut out the ends, push to connect fittings. We're gonna run it down below the fan shroud there and secure it to the actual cooler that came with this kit to those brackets and back up. So we got good clearance, not in danger of touching the belt there. Can't wait to put another push-on fitting. Where's my cutout? You look in there, you can kind of see where it goes up above the little. Keep it over the inside there. And then typical bleeding. Turn it a couple times. First to start it. let it pull in there, then a couple cycles, wheels off the ground, and then wheels on, under load. Smoother. Silky smooth.
We've got essentially the whole kit installed. We're very, very close from putting wheels and tires on it. Obviously, there's no axle shafts in it, so we gotta get that done. But we've got the pump installed, all the lines are installed, the box is installed, the reservoir's installed, the breather's installed, and the cooler's installed, right? These are all the components that come in PSC's Adventure Series kit. And all in all, the install went well. There were a couple things that we had to kind of improvise in the field, right?
Yeah, we had to modify the hose lengths.
Modify the hose
and the reservoir length. Those are the two big ones.
Yep. And so this kit no longer uses Mopar power steering fluid because like the electric system has its own unique proprietary fluid.
Correct, yeah.
So the fluid that's in this is right from PSC.
Correct, yeah, they provide 4 quarts with the kit.
Okay. And is that just, that's their what, their SWEPCO stuff?
Yeah,
SWEPCO fluid.
715.
715 fluid, cool.
Instead of the electric Mopar fluid.
Right, I'm eager to see what this thing is like actually down and on the ground.
Should make turning 38s a whole lot easier.
It should make turning 38 super easy. So the install looks really good. So great job on that. The location of the reservoir, of course, the pump, all that kind of stuff, PSC has pretty well dialed in with their brackets. The belt was longer.
It all did, it basically replaced an idler that was over there already.
Oh, it replaced it,
So where the idler was, you now have a pump with a bigger pulley. Belt's a little bit longer for the different pulley size.
Yeah.
And then the box is obviously bigger.
Right.
Bigger sector shafts.
Yep.
Pretty much bigger everything on that part for strength.
And so, I mean, this is gonna be a great kit for 37s and 38s. If somebody was doing 40s and up, probably be a good idea to add the RAM that PSC sells.
And the ports are already on that steering box.
Yeah, so it would just be literally a RAM, the mounting brackets, and 2 hoses.
Yep.
And some more fluid. Bleed it out, and it should be ready to rock.
And for this kit, the brackets worked well too. They give you some warnings on the metal, on the track bar bracket kits, not working with the bolts that come with their box, but on the metal cloak one, it bolted up fine.
Awesome, awesome. Well, installing this PSC system was a blast. We had, what, a day and a half in the whole install?
Yep.
Probably, till we got hoses and that kind of stuff. But I'm really, really impressed. I think it looks really good. I know the owner's gonna be really impressed once he gets this thing on the ground and on the trail, because it's gonna really add that extra power that you need. We've seen a bunch of Jeeps come in with actual broken sector shafts, JLs and JKs, and with this big bore box, that's gonna completely eliminate that possibility. Well, I guess anything's possible, but it's gonna really add some girth to this whole steering system. So, if you like this video and the detail that we got, be sure to let us know in the comments section. Also, make sure that you subscribe to our channel because we are cranking out projects like this every single day. Lastly, follow us all over the internet, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, because there is a ton of cool stuff like this that we do every single day. Thanks for your attention and your time watching this video.